The first of the three methods we can use to estimate bad debt under GAAP is the percentage of sales method. And the percentage of sales method is exactly what it sounds like. You look at your sales for the month, and then you multiply it by a reserve percentage that you have come up with, and that tells you how much your bad debt expense is. So in October, which is what we're looking at, our total sales were $16,500, and we reserve at a rate of 2% or 0.02. Okay, and so when we multiply them, we get a total bad debt expense of $330. So then when we go down and further down here and we book our journal entry, we were given some information about what's in our allowance for doubtful accounts account, but under the percentage of sales method, we don't care about that. Our journal entry is just what we calculated. So we're going to debit that debt expense for $330, and we're going to credit an account called allowance for doubtful accounts. Allowance for doubtful accounts is a contra asset account, which means it sits with the assets, specifically with accounts receivable, but it has a natural credit balance. So when we look at our accounts receivable, and we want to know how much we can expect to come in, we have to take our accounts receivable balance and subtract whatever is in allowance for doubtful accounts. And that will tell us how much we can actually expect to collect. We use the allowance for doubtful accounts account to book our credit because we don't actually know at this point which account's going to go bad, right? It could be any of them. But we know historically about 2% of sales end up being uncollectible. So we're just using kind of a rough estimate. We take our sales every month, we multiply them by the amount that historically has gone bad, 2% in this case, and we book our bad debt. So then we're going to book at the end of October, and we usually only do this at the end of the month. We're not going to do it multiple times in the month because we just really don't need to. It's an estimate. It's not going to be precise. All right, so we book our $330. So at the end of October, the balance of our allowance for doubtful accounts account is going to be $1,830. So if our total accounts receivable, you can see up here, is $48,500. So let's just put this in here. $48,500, and our allowance for doubtful accounts as a credit balance, so we'll do a minus 1830, and we can look at them and say we expect to collect $46,670 of that $48,500. Okay, that is the percentage of sales method. In the next video, we'll go over the percentage of receivables method. I'll see you then.